Everything seems to be fine. Second. As always, double check. Yeah, I think we're fine. Awesome. All right. So, what's up and what's on today's schedule? I guess that's where we're starting, right? Some good old music. Sorry, what was it? This is should be Arch Enemy. Yes, Liars and Thieves, of course. I don't know if everyone else is similar to me when it comes to names and band names. Well, I'm better at remember the names of bands and artists, but when it comes to their song names, even though my like favorite ones tend to escape me every now and then. And Arch Enemy, although I love them, I do tend to kind of forget their the names of their songs. So either way, that's me, and perhaps you recognize yourself in that, whatever you want to call it, right? All right. So other than that, like reporting on what's happening right now for me, not much. One thing though, and this will likely be, I think I actually started this last stream similar to this. That is the scuff. So I guess we could call it the scuff report. Perhaps I can do some quick animation on that. I don't know. Well, the thing is, since I made a new setup, I came to realization where I looked at forums, and as much as I love my Stream Deck, implementing it with the Wave Link, which is the software that comes with the Stream Deck, at least for a few of them, as far as I understood it. I had the Stream Deck Plus. So the Wave Link, all the amazing software, especially the fact that you can output a stream output. And so you have two channels, one for my headset and one for what stream would hear. And I can swap between them. So I can have my regular headset output, or I can swap over to hear what the volume and whatever sound I output to the stream is, which is a great thing to kind of tweak the various settings. Problem was, and that's why the last stream had a very even sound across the entire board. This music was pretty much as loud as my actual voice, which for some apparently was nice. They could hear the music and they liked it, so I'm all good with that. It's kind of hard though to feel like there's a balance between me and the music. So I can't go into details because I really didn't catch everything. But apparently, when the output from, or the input for everything I have, like my mic, my music, goes to Wavelink, then it outputs the adjusted sound. But OBS does the same thing, and it overrides the Wavelink. So all the knobs and all the buttons I had on have on my Stream Deck didn't do anything to the sound in OBS. So I had to find a way around that. So now I have two profiles, or rather I have two pages on my Stream Deck, one for sound I hear and one for what's on OBS. So that's fine. It's not really a problem because I can only have, I can kind of only work with, I can have one open during stream. I don't have to swap that much unless I kind of want to lower the volume in my headset, but right now it's kind of perfect, so I'm fine. So yeah, so that was some scuff, and the biggest one, there was some copyrighted music last stream. And I have forgotten to check the Twitch VOD solution option. So the download of, when I downloaded the VOD, I had tons of copyrighted music on it. Not everything was flagged, but as far as I know, YouTube is a lot more strict when it comes to copyright than Twitch. I don't know if that's true or not, but I didn't want to take a chance. So I ended up not uploading the VOD. It is on my YouTube channel, just not public. So it will never see the light of day, unfortunately. And the stream before that, I had another issue for some reason, I'm not sure why, there was a audio sync problem. The downloaded version from Twitch was not 60 frames. It was 59 point something. And even though I tried to adjust for that in my editor's software, which is DaVinci, and there's very likely a solution, but I couldn't find one. But I couldn't get it to work. So yeah, couldn't find a solution. So that one was also scrapped because I didn't want to upload something that has that terrible audio desync between what I'm saying. Kind of felt like I was watching a very old dubbed movie, especially the old Japanese to English versions, where you can kind of see they're moving their mouth long after the sound either kicks in or ends. So I don't know. So yeah, quick report on those. Why I haven't uploaded the last 2 streams, and it is what it is. Hopefully, that is part of the growing stage, right? I'm still early in the process. I began streaming in May, so June, July, August. So I'm on my 3rd month. The May, I mean, it was the end of May, like 2 days for the end of May. I think it was 28th or 29th. I can't remember exactly. Either way, yeah, I think that's enough of the report, the scuff report. So I'll leave that to the side. That's all behind me now. Let's get into what's on the docket today. And last time we worked on a procedural landscape material, or rather, more exactly, we worked on a slope mask that will update based on, well, the slope, right? So it's a procedural mask for my material. And it kind of worked. I was quite happy, better than I expected. So for now, I think I want to go back to more, let's call it, not traditional, but what's on the guide from Epic about creating landscape material. So I want to create the basic of that, which includes weights. I believe it's paint. I can't remember the exact details, but there are a few exclusionary ways, a few ways to exclude or include various textures. So I want to add a few Megascan stuff and blend between them, just like a traditional landscape. And then I want to see if I can include the slope mask that I created. I believe I can. I don't think it's an issue. Should be quite easy, actually. We'll see. So, all right. Sorry, back to Notepad. Yeah. And set dressing. Yes, we're definitely going to get into set dressing at some point. Probably not today. Depends on how successful or quick, and maybe to set up the whatever I want to do with the landscape today. But one thing I was considering when it came to set dressing is to use PCG, at least to set dress first initial layout, such as adding large rocks on slopes and whatever I kind of want to. I think that could be fun and probably work with the line option that you have with PCG. So with that, we could probably scatter some pieces on top of the island. And I mean, we can get in more into that will look like in a bit. But I think that is where we are at right now. The other ones like refined lighthouse, block up, cabin, all of these will have to wait a bit. Now, right now is the procedural stuff. But there's probably going to be a few streams going forward, all about procedural. All right. With that said, now I'm just repeating myself. I'm going to swap over, and hopefully, using my stream deck, I should be able to just do this. And let's see if this works. Oh, there you go. Love when things work. What about sound, music? Oh, that's another thing. I did spend time setting up follower notification and raid notification. So we do have that now, and hopefully I don't have to go looking at my activity feed each time I hear a follower notification. So we'll see. Hopefully someone would point, like click the follow button, and we'll see if it works. But for now, we're going to do a traditional landscape material. So with that, I'm going to delete a few things we had from last stream. Those colors were just there for debugging. And I'm also going to check what I had from the last stream. And that plane, which is meant to replicate water, I'm going to remove that for now. So here's the procedural mask we made in the last session. If I go into this mode, which is pure unlit, so it's just colors, you see all the black parts, and then we have some white parts. Just double checking, because it does feel like this larger plane feels slightly less black, but it might not be a problem. Cool. And also we have an error. Why is that? 16 landscape actors, physical material needs to be rebuilt. Okay. I assume it has something to do with this. No. I just rebuild, and we're done. Awesome. Then we're going to go into move this to the side. I have easy access to it. And landscape. All right. So it's been a while, so I need to refresh what I would do for the landscape material. I'm going to move this over to the other side. I feel like it's easier that way. There we go. Regular stuff. The sculpting. We've done that. There we go. Create material, landscape, coordinates. And then, of course, it's the regular texture, samplers, roughness values, metallic values, normals. But basic stuff. And it's adding. Why are you adding them together? Makes no sense. Why are they adding two normals together? Does that work? Now I'm curious. That's curious. Do I have any mega scan stuff? Surfaces. Icelandic. Stony ground. Well, that's a start. Mossy rock. I mean, you can work with that, I guess. And sand. It's not a good replacement for grass, but we could probably, as a start thing, work with that one. We could probably just do a tint for fun. Okay, so let's go with these two. And sand. Here we go. We need base colors. And I need to keep track of which is which. So we're going to have, perhaps even better if I have only the rocky stuff up here and only the sand textures down here. That would probably make it easier to tell which is which. But also working with just base colors at the top and then just normals at the bottom. I don't know. I'm going to skip this song, by the way. It's been a while, but I want to listen to it. Here we go. And I believe these are roughness in the alpha. No? They have, oh yeah, roughness in alpha. It looks like it is. Just double check with the other one. No. That it doesn't look like it, does it? What do you hold? You are using a compression. It's different. What if we Go to BC7. Now we can check the alpha. That looks pure white. Okay. We don't have proper roughness then. That makes sense. What are the other textures? D. What's D for? Should be, is it depth? I assume it's depth. Okay, so we have a depth. And what are you? That is roughness. So they've separated the roughness. Right? We can live with that. And of course, we need to adjust or add the UVs. Or the coordinates, rather. And I assume we're going to use, what's it called? Landscape something? Layer blend. That's what we want. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So 2 of these. Let's go with sand and ground. Probably purple names, but let's go with that. Then we have the blending types. What are, I mean, there's height and there's weight, right? So there's some clues in the names. I would love to know a bit more. I'll figure that out. Okay. Not really. So doing it this way, I assume sand base color will be showing, not the ground, because I put that as weight, preview weight at 1. Okay, that doesn't look like anything at all. There's something else I need to do. Is it possible that I can't use a material instance? Is that possible? No? All right. So let's go for this part then. Okay, so this, I remember this. I need to, there's something about these things I need to do. Let's see what that is. Sign material, that's fair enough. Paint, yep, so far so good. And the landscape pad, under the target, yeah, target, you should see 3 labels. Well, in our case, it's 2. Right, click plus. Okay, wave blend. And of course, we need to save it somewhere. Didn't I create landscape folder? Thought I did. Let's do that first then. Where am I saving this though? In blueprints. Why on earth did I save it under blueprints? That makes no sense. And now. There we go. So in this part, I guess resource works as good as anything. Sources. Wayblend. Landscape. Resources. Save. And the same process with the other one. Okay. All right. Now it's the coordinates that needs to be adjusted a bit too piled down. But we're going to try and paint first just to see what it looks like. And is it that I need to select the one I want to paint, right? No? Yeah, all right. So what about the height blend then? Because there is one thing. The real landscape. Okay. So we want to figure out what's the difference between the various blends. All right, so perhaps, because we did have something called height blend, and it adds detail to transition between layers based on a height map. We can have stuff in between, which is something I like to see, because then we could probably use, in the future, use that slope mask that we created. So perhaps, question is, should this be the other way around? What if we do that? And then we can input the height. Okay. So I'm going to go to this part. Let's add. Nope. Okay, let's adjust the. Why did the function pop up? There we go. What happened? Let's go. Landscape highlight. that gives us a horrendous tiling, all right? Do landscape tiling and do 2048. Okay, so we can't go up, we need to go down. Fair enough. But 32. Better. Still, that transition. Should I just do a multiply? Let's see what it looks like. Oh, right. I need to also do that. Now we have the height. It does feel like there's something. It's not really within that 0 to 1 space. Well, probably is, but I need more contrast. And also, I probably need to use this. And what if... I don't remember if it's up or down. We meant to go with. So it's up, apparently. Just expose this. Makes it a lot easier to work with. All right. That's interesting. Probably use this, but I mean, instead of more contrast, it feels, well, it is a high contrast, but it feels like the values are increased or decreased rather than like doing a contrast. How about we do a multiply? Is that the same, or will it give me different results? And what if we do this? You go in this part, and we're going to have a new value. And that's closer. I think we could probably use something else. There is something called cheap contrast. What if we use that instead? I need to reset one of them. That probably needs to be 0. Then we can slowly increase. All right. This is closer to what I'm hoping to see. Because now, if we push this into the high blend, and of course I need to push this part into the base color. Bit of a mess right now, but we can clean up in a second. So what I want to see is some kind of difference between the transitions. Not sure if it is doing something. Okay. Not sure if it comes through stream though. What if there's another option we have? Let's see. I need to go to, that was ground. Let's go to sand. Let's go to this texture. Now we have 2 height maps, or depth maps, apparently it's called. No, wait. How's that going to work? I was hoping to blend them. But if I do that, I'm just going to get something, another map. Hmm. So it's 0 to 1. We increase it to 0 to 2, which is a multiply by 2. Then what? Makes no sense. Why would I do that? No, first of all, you need to be red, not RGB. I don't think multiply will do much. No, not really. Let's see if there's some knowing instructions. Perhaps there are. That's something further down. Hmm. Perhaps they both need to be set to height. Could that be? I don't think that's the case, is it? Which means, as for now, do this. And perhaps I should paint more. Is that the case? Does that make a difference? Oh, really? Let's see, where I'll turn it off. Hopefully I'm doing this the right way. My setup, still haven't mastered it yet. But hopefully no sound is coming through the stream, only I'm gonna take a gamble and say it's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of explaining the same conclusion I had, but just not how to solve it yet. Well, power, okay, fair enough. You mentioned that as a contrast, okay. Yep, okay. So apparently I might be expecting too much from the original, or from the video itself. So let's see if we can't do what he did, which is more or less what we already have done. I'm going to remove this. You're going to remove you. Just a red. And let's start preview. Is that really what it looks like? Wait, really? Oh, it could be... Right. Okay. Yeah. That's the landscape coordinates that are likely doing either making the texture so large that it's just a single pixel we can see, or it's making it so small that it's hard to tell what's what. But I'm just going to experiment on this part. So let's do a power. Make it a 10. For the sake of it, just do 100. Oh, sorry, I need to preview this one. And now it's completely black. Okay, do it 10. So that is a higher level of, I'm not sure contrast is the right word, but it's displacing the amount of black values and white values. And I assume we could probably do a multiply. Do multiply by 2. Not sure. We can do another thing with that later on. Then saturate. And let's see what that looks like. So I'm expecting is the white values to increase significantly. Kind of does. Another thing we could try, do a saturate between, so that we actually have 0 to 1 values. I'm pretty sure we do already, but who knows? And let's just pass that in, see what happens. All right, so now it's definitely sharper. That's kind of what I'm after. So I think we're on the right track. Instead, let's go this way. Apply. Now it might be too much. Okay. Still quite soft. That's not really what I'm after. Um, Okay. Playing around with a few values, get something looks decent. I'm not sure how large these rocks would be. And of course, we have to, at some point, struggle with a lot of repeating blends. But for now, I kind of just want the transition to work. Of course, you need to be... Wait. Why? What if we go insane? That is insane. I don't know why it's not giving me sharper transition. I'd like to see it be more contrast. Not sure why. What if we just do this then? This is probably the dumbest thing. Okay. And now we're getting somewhere. Q2. Perhaps this is the best I can get. And I'm actually getting into problems, so yeah. How about cheap contrast then? Again, go back to this tried and tested version. Stop. Yeah. Let's leave it as is. We got something. So we need this one, which is power. What if we actually just push this into... It doesn't look like there's much difference. There's another option we could do, but that requires me to open different software. We might have to do that. So what I'm thinking is, as nice as this texture is, and it's really nice for displacement and things like that, but in Unreal, from my experience and from what I've been told, you do want a bit more contrast to your heights, especially when you want to use them as height masks. It's not really that difficult for me to open Designer or probably Photoshop and quickly make adjustments to this one. Well, okay, so I need to export. I mean, we're talking 10 minutes. We're going to try it out, see if I'm on the right track. So let's go with an export. Asset action, I believe. Yep. Export. And since this is just going to be a test material or texture, let's just throw it down on desktop for now. All right. Photoshop. Let's go to open, desktop. Next, we want to add a levels. I do believe there is an auto option. Now you can see there's a lot more darkness and white areas compared to before. Let's see what that can make a difference for us. Back to Unreal. Let's add this to Do I have my developer folder somewhere? Developers. Textures. Import. Of course, we need to make sure the settings are correct. PC7. Turn off sRGB. Okay. We're going to use this part. Are we looking at much difference? I'm not sure. So this is just basic. I feel there is some the greater like contrast between the transition. Now that I look at it, those rocks are huge, aren't they? And that means I need to go lower. Okay, let's go with 16. Seems like a good number. Perhaps even lower. Let's go with 12. Trying to figure out what is what. That seems to be some kind of plant. And compared to my character, it looks kind of decent. I'm going to try 8. Is that too small? No, I think that's fine. All right, so let's leave this one at 2. So this is default, all defaults. I'm going to grab a screenshot. And then we're going to compare that screenshot to what we had before. I mean, this is subtle. This is probably as subtle as it gets. Where are we? This one. Oh, well. It is an improvement, but it's really subtle, so I can show it here. That if we look at this is with the new height depth or height texture that we adjusted in Photoshop. And this is without. It's as subtle as it gets. It's insane. Though, that said, I do prefer it. I'm going to keep it. But I'm going to do this. Remove. We're going to add a comment. Oh, wow. That's not even close correct. Yep, that works. Move you. Should we try the contrast version while we're at it? And let's go to, I don't know, 0. What do we mean? It's not really an improvement, is it? Because what I'm looking at, so in the ground texture, there are these rocks. And sand, right now, it just goes on top. Which, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's also not what I want. I want them to be more in between each rock. All right, so contrast is a no-go. Be gone. Might add that at some other point, but now it's gone. Go. And let's make this black. So I know that I need to keep track of that one. Perhaps the result will be more easy to look at once we have normals attached. Who knows? But one thing I saw, which could be an improvement to readability of the texture itself, or sorry, the material, is that we're going to move you up. That ground, we're going to move this up. And then we're going to add you to a make your attribute. Connect this one. Let's do a metallic. Copy you. Make it specular. We do have roughness somewhere. Let's add roughness while we're at it. Go. I'm using the red channel, although I could probably use the RGB, but I'm using red as a safety measure rather than hoping that it's fine when it comes to compression settings. Like, oh, already I can tell that it's off. Can't be sRGB. It needs to be off. Default, I'm assuming we could probably do with a grayscale. Down, this one. And then since now it's grayscale, should probably, let's just see what it looks like. Reroute. And preview. Can't preview because fine with that. Hard to tell, but there is some roughness details. So we're fine. And we also need UVs. And while we're at it, we're actually going to clean this up a bit. I don't like when all this spaghetti shows up. So what we're going to use a different type of rerouter. Reroute called reroute, named reroute acceleration node. It's a mouthful, but it's a very useful node if you don't know about it. So I'm just going to call it landscape forward in coordinates. Move this up to this part. And so far, this is not the final setup. What we're going to do then is we can either tab or right click, go to named reroutes and select name coords. And then we're going to replace all of these. So the way I look at it, it is a portal between these nodes and that node. So you can't see the spaghetti, but it's like it's passing through data through a portal, or I don't know what to call it, wormhole. You pick one. That is all. And we're going to do the same thing for the other material. So base color, normal, open you to grab the roughness. And let's enable show bubble when zoomed so that we can easily see where we can find those coordinates. We have a similar thing down there. We need to move you up. My pedantic side is coming through, so I just need to move these a little bit. There you go. And all of these are now materials, right? And what I can do now is use the landscape blend. I believe I can do it this way, can't I? Exactly. As long as these two inputs are the same data types, that's the best way to explain it. This one should work. So now I have everything in one continuous path. Makes it easier to tell what's what. And we're also, let's move you down to here, landscape. And the final step is we're going to, do I need to break you, or can I just tell you to be a material attribute? I can't, can I? I can. Does this work? That would be great, because it makes it a lot easier to read. All right, so what we have is sand and ground and a height mask. So hopefully, with all of these, we should see no difference compared to before, but in our graph, it should be a lot easier to tell what's what. Rebuild, is this going to work? Why not? Doesn't look like it's working. So that tells me that either we're doing something wrong. Final outputs. So we should probably create a break material. Go base color, metallic, spec, rough. I don't need emissive. Need normals. And likely ambient occlusion at some point, but for now. No, still not working. And why is that? Oh, sorry, dude. Cobbler, hey, how you doing? My chat is not working. I thought I had it working in OBS. Really sorry if you're still here, dude. Sorry I missed all of your messages. Yeah, first of all, yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for taking with the right chin. Never mind. Yeah. All right, let's see. How you doing? I'm doing well. What we're doing today, we're working on a procedural material, and hopefully we can combine that with previous work we did, which is a slope mask. Everything is going to be adjusted while I'm painting, hopefully. It is possible to blend two height maps and make the sand use the other map to blend in. Is it possible to blend two height maps? Make the sand use the other map to blend in? Yes. Well, no. So as far as I understand the system right now, you can't really use two height masks. You want one height mask. And let's see if we can make this make sense, right? And also I need to connect the, sorry, just quickly before I forget. I'm going to have that. So we're going to use this one instead. It makes more sense. The way, if I blend two height masks, it's kind of like a lerp. Everything that's black will be one color, and everything that's white will be another one, and then you have mix with them. So either I increase the contrast, make more black colors. But if I mix two height masks, it's just going to be the same thing, if that makes sense. And also, I want the, I'm really not explaining this in a good way. Let's say I want everything that's white to be one texture, which is the ground texture. And I want the black to be where my sand texture is. And since I want sand between those larger rock details in the ground, I can't really blend with another height map, because then sand might be on top of the rocks that are meant to be excluding the sand. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm really butchering this explanation. You have to give me a yes or no if that makes sense, or if your head is really like, what the hell is this man talking about? And also, why isn't my chat in Twitch picking up the chat from, I don't know. That's fair enough. And if you need me to further clarify it, just let me know. But yeah, I understand the need for some processing. Why isn't it? And now it's working. What am I missing? Let's see. I'm gonna mute that in my headset and increase that. Just give me simple. Yeah, please do. In the meantime, I'm just gonna figure out what the hell I'm doing. So you are height. Wait, all right. Base color. All of these are correct. What if we just pass this in? Now it's working. Okay. What's wrong? Why is it? All right, I guess I should be happy that it's working. So let's just add one at a time. Or I can see, as long as it's working in my preview window, I should be fine, right? No. Okay. Is it something to do with the normals? Because that's when it started to go wrong. Or the roughness? Oh, it's either the normals or the roughness. Let's try. See if it's the roughness. Why are you complaining? I assume it has to do with this part. Because you are set to linear grayscale. There we go. But then again, that was wrong. What if we do this now? I'm going to throw you to a use attribute. Like that. Will that work? Okay, now it works. All right, let's see. Displacement blending. Let's see, yeah. Oh, and by the way, Cobbler, I'm going to look at this, but in the meantime, can you tell me if you can hear the video audio? You're not meant to, but if you can, please let me know. So I need to double check my sound system. And you can't hear it? Awesome. But you can hear the music. Yes. Awesome. Thank you, man. Okay. So, as far as what I'm getting from this video is roughly what we're already doing. Awesome. I'm good to know, so that I can ask you in the future. No, so what I'm getting from what he's doing, and we can actually do this. So in this section, he is blending two height masks, or sorry, textures, right? But he's using what I assume is vertex colors, which means he has a third data set. So you have the splotch, which is a black and white vertex color. And then that is either showing one height map or the other. And that is kind of what we're trying to do in Unreal. But I'm guessing, or I'm pretty sure on this one, this node is already doing that part for us because we're setting it, the blend type, to height blend. So there's already mixed in, because when I paint, you can see the other texture pops up exactly the same way as it did in his video. It works well, and it's what I'm going to use. What I'd love to see, though, if we can get closer to the ground, and perhaps it's the fault of the texture itself, because there's different details. Let's see if I can find something that works. Right, so in this part, I'm going to zoom in. In this part, you have these small rocks, and I assume they are brighter in the texture, right? And if I can make them even more white and have the cavities between each rock being black, I was hoping to make a very clear difference between this sand texture and those rocks. So the rocks would still have the same color as before, but in between you would see this this sand texture. I think that's a better explanation. Definitely with that video as a reference, I think that can make more sense. But right now, they're kind of just blending rather than like smooth blend. You got it? Oh, awesome. I'm always nervous every time I try to explain something because I'm not the best at explaining yet. I'm getting better at it though. We're going to try something because I just remembered. What if we increase the fallout? That did nothing. All right. But we could try your worst. Okay, well, we're not going to make it a competition, but I'll take you by your words. Is that how you say it? I take your word for it. That's how you say it. But we're going to try something else. So this works very much to what I'm expecting, hoping it would do. But what if we do this? Okay, and that is, let's use lerp. And we're going to add this slope mask I made last time, which should look like, let's see if I can just quickly show it off. And or do I need to? I can't because I have done this. So dumb. Let's unbreak this. Disconnect all of these. And let's right click, select connect to base color, Y. And if I zoom out, I have this mask. And that's similar to the way we were painting. Instead of painting, we're doing it procedurally now, using math. Fun stuff, right? But that is the same thing that this node is using. It's just that inside there's a lot more stuff going on. But what we could do, and I hope this works, is what if I route this part into the white parts? I can't do that? Oh, please. Please tell me I can do it. I can't. It's not compatible with float. Okay. So I have to, this sucks. Okay. I have to go this way. You in there, you in there, and now you directly into base color. sometimes you can't even explain to ChatGPT. I've been there. You have such a clear idea in your head. This is what I want. But as soon as you try put it into words or type it into words, like, what am I trying to do? It could be, at least in my case, it has to do with the way I word it, like the words I'm using, because I want it to sound reasonable rather than blah, 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 this is that, blah, just type it out, right? But it's a struggle. I'm recognizing that struggle. There we go. So this is something I'm looking at. It might be a, what do you call it? It's not a shortcut. It's a detour compared to what I did before. But the upside with this, and I blame ChatGPT, they can't hear what here inside my head. Yeah, that would be scary and amazing at the same time. Let's see. So let's just do paint. Let's do a 1024. Oops, that's not 1020. Reset you then. Let's increase fallout and I need to be in sculptor. No. Oh, something's happening. Right. So now it's painting procedurally, which is something I'd like. Rather than me going back and repaint everything. Well, who knows? It's far from perfect, right? In this case, what we could use on this texture instead, as long as we have that gradient. Let's just try add this back. Base color, apply. So we do have a gradient here between that white color and black. So what we could do is use something called the height lerp, which is a material function. And that's just the fancy way of saying a lot of nodes are inside a smaller node or in one node, and it's easier to see what we're doing. We can then do the transition phase, which is our black and white simple mask. We can then push the height mask into height texture, of course. And A would be, where are you? The lerp, let's just do. We're going to move this one into A and this one into B. And hopefully what I'm expecting now to see is that gradient we have here, well, first of all, will be more detailed, and we will have sand on the white and ground on the blacks. That's what I'm expecting. Oh, right. Of course, you need to be pushed into base color, of course. The downside is I'm assuming this is quite more heavy when it comes to processing. And that's kind of what's happening. It's not perfect, and that could be the contrast is too high. No, not 10, 0. Yeah, I don't know. It's not perfect. It's actually very similar to what we had earlier. I think the fall off probably could be increased. Likely we could increase the fall off and then increase the contrast to make sure that's the difference. I'm starting to suspect it has something to do with the textures themselves. Something we did earlier, I'm not sure if you were here for that, but we were looking at increasing the contrast of the height inside Photoshop. And that helped a bit. But we can probably do more. So I don't know. Because we could probably move this small pin to either left or right to increase that contrast between those. But yeah, I'm starting to it's starting to look like it's more of the texture thing. I could probably use a different texture. Oh yeah, we're rushing. Okay. But yeah, but this would work. This worked a lot better. But yeah, it's probably the texture, because looking at it, those rocks that I pointed to earlier, those small ones that I was like, I wanted things to go in between. In this texture, you can kind of see that there are quite in the gray zone, and then you have these parts, which are the white parts, which is higher up, right? So hierarchically, they are higher up than blacks, but they are not, and then they're higher up than the gray tones. So we might not even get what I'm hoping for, because there's too much gray colors rather than the brighter whites. We might have to use a different texture. Well, either way, I think we're on to the right type of system here, though, so I'm just going to clean up a bit. And of course, you need to be not two-sided. There you go. And delete this part. So I guess what we could do now is increase. Can I do it inside Unreal directly? I mean, I was hoping to be able to do it. And I assumed I could. And it's probably possible. Let's see if we can look. I want this one. I don't think there's a ramp. There are curves, I think. But I'm not sure how these work. Because I think these are more like they use the UV coordinates to create gradients. Like if I do a bell curve, start previewing it. Maybe not. Can I do this? Oh, actually, that's not terrible. And what if we do a 1 minus, and that just flips all the values? That's exactly the same. It's closer to what I was hoping for. And I should be able to do it. Unreal Engine, auto level. Probably have to auto level textures. And of course, it's nothing to do with that. Perhaps this one. Of course, no one's answered that form question. Oh, okay. Wait. Apparently, I didn't. Well, I kind of knew about this, but at the same time, I definitely forgot about it. There are ways to adjust the colors or the textures directly in Unreal like this. Okay. That's interesting. That's actually exactly what I'm after. Okay. You have the curve atlas, that is true. Let's see, how the hell did you use those again? Textures, no. Miscellaneous, probably. There's curve. But how would you know that you need the atlas, right? You just looked it up, okay. If you figure out something, that would be great. How about curved table? Constants, linear, cubic. I don't remember. Let's try linear now. I've used these before, but I can't remember how I... So or a custom texture-based ramp. Pixel tall texture with your gradient sample with UVs. That part doesn't make sense to me, but that's nothing new. In the material, map it to colors using either curve atlas. Okay, well, we can try the curve atlas part. I mean, I already had one, but do that. And I assume I can just drag and drop it. No, it doesn't make sense. Gradient curve, so I can add a curve at least. All right. Because there's something called curve gradients. It gave you step by step with images. Yeah, I mean, I try to use chat when I'm really at my end. Can't really figure out myself, but I probably should in this case. All right, let's see. What does chat have to say? Yeah, that part I got. Create a curve atlas. Oh, we have a material. All right, so let's see. We can just follow these steps and see what happens. If anything, we've learned something, right? All right, so first off, I need you to be docked so I can see what I'm doing. First step. On the browser, fair enough. Easy. And since this is going to be part of the landscape, let's move directly into the landscape and let's do curves. Yeah, I haven't really had the chance to try chat GPT-5 yet, at least not in serious extent. But I do like that there's a lot of images, but I think those images are actually taken directly from Unreal's own site, because I found this from Unreal, and it looks like it's exactly the same images. But chat summarized it quite a lot better than I think Epic did, so I'm going to try that. Let's see. What was it? Curve atlas, yes. Curve atlas. No, wasn't curve. Well, I need to make one, but what I wanted first is just a curve. And I'm going to get a question, yes. And I want to make it curve, linear color, yes. No clue at what to call it though. Let's see what it does first. Let's see. Linear curve, color curve. Is that really what I made? Or I'll just say color curve. Curver. That's not what I wanted. There you go. Well, now it looks the same. You'll be able to set the individual. So what I'm thinking is that we could ignore both blue and green because since it's a black and white texture, right? So we can just focus on the red. That's the green. That's not what I wanted. And I hide. Why is there a white dot? There we go. So now we only have the red. I assume this one, which is the Y, needs to be at 1. And I'm supposed to be able to do, there we go. So we could probably do a curve and everything like that later on. Now, and probably that dot was because you placed it on the line. Yeah, very likely. All right, curve atlas. And just for the sake of it, my curve atlas. And there we go. Do I need to do something with this? Open the curve atlas, set texture size. Well, I mean, the texture we're using is 4096. And that's hell of a lot too big, right? But for now, let's keep up with that. For the sake of it, I guess. You can uncheck and adjust height to remove the black rows. I'm not sure if that's needed. Add your curve asset into the atlas. Okay, like this, I assume. My curve. So far, so good. And material. So that should be set up now. And then there was something about curve. Or atlas parameter. They called it keep the same. Yeah, that makes sense. My curve gradient. Fair enough. Let's see my curve. Oh my God, please spell. And that could then be used to adjust this part. Also, we need to reset these values. There we go. All right. Why isn't... Can you save the node set for later use? You talking about this one? Or are you referring to the settings we had on the height texture? Why isn't it possible to select? Oh, of course, I need to go with this first, then that. If you can save the node as is. So I can't save this node, but what I can do is that I can include that node in something called the material function. Nodes group 8. Oh, nodes grouped. All right. Sorry, I'm not really getting that part. But if you want this node as it is right now, you can create a material function, and then you can have this node inside that function with hard-coded values. That could work, but then you still have to make sure you save those atlases as a node group. So there's no thing as a node group, you have node groups in Blender, right? But in Unreal, you have something called material functions. They work roughly the same, but in my experience, functions are a lot better when it comes to reusability. And it's quite easy to set up because you inside we can do this for fun. Here function, you will go to materials, or it could be in, they moved it. I think they moved it, or did I miss it? Oh, there, it's right there. Do we call this my curve, or MF as in material function, my curves. And then you will get a new window. You'll grab your material or the node, and you will add it to. Then you add an input, which you can just add. So now this will be your texture, right? This could be in texture. And you will probably, and then you don't think you have to do anything else because these will be hard set as values. So as long as you have the textures in the same location, I think this will be fine. And you just pass that out, or you can't. Why not? Because from large float to smaller float type. Sorry. So there's something to do with the data type, okay? Right, because I have to do that. Which is that's just a float, right? Are we? So this one needs to be scalar. Yeah, there you go. But it's a bit of could be complicated if you don't know the difference between those types of vectors and things like that, but it should work fine. So inside your material now, you would just add this, and it's the same. These two are exactly the same. And then you can also, which is something I like to do, inside your material function, you will just click on the empty graph part, and you could call this my curve function, and you will expose it. And inside library categories, you will say something like custom, for example, or landscape. Maybe that's better. Landscape. Let's say landscape. You're going to have to apply, then go back to your material, and now you can actually search for it. So there it is. So now it's possible for you to search for it. So long as it's in the same project, you can just search for it. And if you want to go even further, there's a lot. Yeah, I do love this part too. And you can go even further, I think. I'm not sure if you can expose these parameters. I don't think you can. So these are going to be permanent unless you go inside the function or make a copy of that function and call it something else. But otherwise, you can always, in other cases, you can add more inputs and you can do whatever you want inside. One thing you should be careful of, though, this is more of a best practice rather than something super important. If you're going to add a texture sample, which is something referencing a texture inside your project, make sure that it's one of these so-called default textures, which is a empty, or so not an empty, but a very, 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 very small texture that has a almost no footprint on your memory, because all of these are going to be permanently stashed to your memory. So if you have a 4K texture, but you override it at some point, doesn't matter, because as long as it's referenced inside your material function, it's still going to be in memory. So when you pass it on to a game, you might have a 4K texture taking up space. So that's like something to keep in mind. So yeah, that's it. So we have this part. And well, actually, I don't want to use that because I can't get access to these. Or actually, I can, now that I think about it. Oh, that's too many. Let's do that. And just to see what we're doing. Can I do that? I can. And it's passing out a red color. I assume that is proper. I mean, if this is passing out red. Perhaps this isn't what we are looking for. Oh, I had to do it that way? And the reason it looks like this. Well, I don't think I have to. That's the thing, because you never use all, well, never is a strong word, but you don't need to use all the colors when it comes to height to depth map, because they are more or less the same. So if we go to the depth map and we look at, this is red, this is green, this is blue, they are exactly the same. So I think I could just affect one of them. But I might be wrong, absolutely. Let's see if I do. I don't need you anymore, so apply. Oh, that's a curve. Well, you might be correct. I just want to double check whether or not I can do the part I'm thinking of. Start previewing. And it's pure white. That has likely to do something with this part. Perhaps not. Or maybe you're correct. Maybe I have to do it on all of them. I was thinking if you curve the red, it will colorize it. No. Well, since the red is a single float value, and if you adjust, well, it's not a single float, it's all float. Each pixel, I'm going to do my best because I'm not sure if I understand completely, but each pixel will be a float value, right? So, and they are stored in the red channel. So if you're separated from everything else, you're just going to have a bunch of floats that you will adjust using the curve. But it is looking like you're onto something because I can't do anything. Let's just turn on. Because nothing's happening. Do I have to save? Wait, let's look what is it? Oh, wait, it's doing. It's doing something else. Oh, it downloaded. Why not? Okay, let's see what chat has to say. Yeah. Well, there is another option we can go, and I think that is probably the one I'm more familiar with. And that is, well, okay, so one thing I'm going to do at some point, and that is all of these textures are not packed in the correct way. They are using more texture samples than I need. That's important in Unreal, because that means extra draw calls and things like that. For example, I could, in something like Substance Designer or Photoshop, I just prefer Designer. I could combine these two, make it into single texture sample. That's going to save me one texture sample per like material I'm using. And I can do the same for normals, because I can add height to the normals. So all of a sudden I've saved two draw calls. So I'm going to do that in the future. And while I'm at it, I could, in Designer, make those adjustments to the height values, which should make everything correct. But again, I think what I'm actually looking for is another type of texture. That's what it feels like, but we'll see. For now, I think I just need to kind of continue, but I am onto something. We're doing something right. It's not exactly what I'm hoping for. But yeah. For now, though, let's move on. See if we can figure out something out. And this one needs to be. You know what? We could swap these around. Const height input, what are you? Only used if height is not hooked up. Well, it is, so. No, let's revert that. We are ignoring this part. And instead, we are doing this, removing this part. I like to reach a point where it feels like I'm doing something productive. I am, but I want to see some steps forward, which means that this part, which is my slope and height mask, needs to be connected to a. Let's do this. I need to see, what are you doing again? You are subtracting 1 from that. That's reasonable, because that means we're now moving from 0 to 1 to -1 and 0. And if we then add that on top of the transition texture, which has been Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So what we want to do is subtract of 1 from this. Then add that to a multiplied by 2 version of this. Right. And then they are clamping it. That's perfectly fine, because we can do that too, but we're going to use the saturate node instead. Do it this way. So with that, we should have, well, that makes kind of sense. Start previewing. Base color. Right. Okay, so here you can see a lot better representation of what I'm aiming for. There's a lot more details in that transition now. You can actually see the rocks. That's perfect. That is actually perfect. So let's remove all of these, add a lerp. And we're going to add the base color from both of these together with that new lerp, or sorry, new mask. Yes. Even better, Cobbler, I'm actually eligible for affiliate. It's 25 followers, but my goal, I love to see it go to 30. But that was kind of fun knowing that I got that email a few days ago, or yesterday, I think, from Twitch. Yes. So all I need to do now is contact my bank and saying, hey, these things are going to happen, so please be prepared. Although I can't see it being large sums at this point. Thank you. Yeah, it was a big, it's a big thing. I'm really happy that it happened. So right now I'm kind of on top of the world because a lot of things are going my way and I'm happy. So thanks to you and everyone else who's been here for past months, following along all the scuff and terrible things I've done, but also the good stuff, of course. But I'm feeling it's been more of a learning path than anything. Let's see, where are we? We are, oh, okay. Hello? Oh, right. It needs to be this way. Yes. Well, I'm looking forward to that part. I'm not sure if you were here when, like, the very beginning of this stream, but I did mention that I do have a follower and a raid notification now. I didn't have it earlier. Such a professional streamer, right? But with the Stream Deck, I think I'm going to be able to do quite a lot of fun stuff as soon as I feel like everything is stable enough. That's still not what. Now I'm confused. It looked so good. Huh. What are you doing? Cheap contrast and you're lerping. Yeah, I've seen it as I've been like Googling around and searching that the streamer bot has been something, but you would recommend that as a tool then? Because I would love to look into it. But that's not part of either the Stream Element or Streamlabs, right? That's something completely different, isn't it? Or is it part of Twitch? I've seen it somewhere. Did I do that part? I don't know if I have to. Let's just try it. Let's do this, that, and I guess we can just try this part. You made a channel point redeem for viewer to leave a note that it will get saved on a PC in a text file. Oh. That sounds like it could be a cool thing. Because you could probably use that text file for something else rather than just reading it, right? Probably create some really cool automated stuff. I've seen a few YouTubers, or sorry, streamers connect some messages to their Discord channel. I'm not capable of that, but that could be a cool thing in the future. Let's see. I have so many variables right now. I need to sort that out. Is it param or 1 or 2? It's param. Okay. Now we're talking. That's very close to what I'm hoping for. You made it. Boys, I made it maybe of someone. Someone would say, clean your mesh or don't forget to send the model. Whatever they want, because I forgot a lot. Okay. Yeah, but hey, that could be a fun thing and really useful. Like, hey, did you forgot to do this part? Oh, yes, I did. All right, but now I'm definitely going to look into that. And you did send a link, so I should probably just click on it for now. All right, you know what? We're going to listen to this band is very typical, I would say at least, very typical Swedish heavy metal. And I do love them. So let's see, play next. And we're going to do Twilight of the Thunder Gods, of course. A very heavy metal name. Let's start with The Pursuit of Viking. And for the hell of it, I'm also going to increase the volume just a little bit. There we go. I have a feeling that my version control just checked out one of the default nodes. No? All right then. Then we're fine. Do it this way instead. There we go. All of these are now like this. So here's a thing I want to do. I want to include the weight painting that Unreal has with the lerp or the procedural mask I did. How would I do that though? That might be a ChatGPT question. see. And move you over this part. Well, they've made a few changes to GPT. I'm definitely getting more of these. I'm thinking a lot longer messages. Takes it time, but assume that's for the better, since it's probably going to give me like better answers, right? Well, that would be great if we can get the height painting from the terrain inside this material and combine it with the slope mask. That would be great. Let's see what it says. Okay. Apparently this one. And so shows the magic. I'll do my best. But this is a gripe I have. And I'm guessing this is not just Epic's problem. This node, usually you would hold down Control Alt and you would see, hey, this is what this does. This is the description. And this is what it gets me. Material Expression Landscape Layer Sample. That's the name of the node, not the description of it. I could potentially press F1 if that helps somewhat. But I don't want to go to F1 and get to this Google tab. I want it inside. Why can't we have it inside the graph? And of course, it's not the same. There's nothing about that node. God dang it. Landscape layer sample. No, that's not the one. Are we? Get landscape now. Post. Nothing valuable. That part. Okay, so apparently I should be able to. Where are you? Right. I'm not I might need that layer blend again. All right. Feel I'm missing something. Not sure what though. Perhaps. No, I should use the height. Trying to figure out what I'm actually aiming to do. Because so this part, if I do it this way, perhaps the weight paint is already. Maybe I don't need. I don't. No, I should be able to need this part because I can't. Okay, so let's go with ground. And this feels wrong. But it is correct. Huh. Because it's probably sampling layer information, right? Hmm. It's getting really complicated. So what I have is I can select either one of these and paint them out, right? That will give me, I assume that each one of these files holds the information that I just painted. Which means if I, let's say I remove this one, then everything else that was connected to the SAM one should still be there. Is it possible that I can just create new layer information? No, I probably need to add it to this. No? All right, I probably just call it something. We'll test for now. That gives me another layer. And I can probably create one based on, okay. But it doesn't need to be connected. Am I only listening to Monomoth right now? It's all fine, but let's swap it up a bit. So could I keep it just a standalone like this and keep painting? Do this, do weighted, landscape, resources, save. So now we have a test layer. And if I select the test layer and paint, nothing. But these two are. That's not what I'm looking for. Ground sand. What am I missing? There's two. That should be that one. Okay. It might need to be connected either way. Okay. So what if we do it this way? Let's start with ground. And I have this part. Now I have a black and white painted mask. And I could combine it with slope. How would I combine it? What would be the best way to do it? Like an add? But the downside with an add is that I can't really remove from the slope. I can only add to the slope. Is that a problem though? How about we try it out for now? See if we can actually make it work. So now I have a mask, but now what? Well, yeah, now what? What should I do with all this information? I mean, I could just lerp, but then again, I'm already combining. Hmm. Well, that wasn't meant to do. All right. Might have to spend some time figure this out on the side. If I can actually do this. Alternatively, what I could do, I can definitely keep it to this type of texture, right? Instead of instead of asking the question how I can remove and add, perhaps should just add one type of texture. In this case, it will be the sloping parts of my world. So you can be gone. Yes. And of course, we go. That adds ground. That adds sand. Yeah, I need to give that some thought. For now, I think this is our best shot for now. And it's flipped. Did I invert it somewhere? And of course, I need to figure out how to remove the repeating patterns of tiling. For now, let's do that. Let's just create these various lerps so we can get that connected. So that's base color. This will be roughness. Go, and finally, normals. Yeah, I need to work on that at some point. But I think that is an easier problem to solve because, like I say, there are quite a few videos out there. So I can't say I've never ever seen a video regarding what I'm trying to do right now. So I think that could be a bit more difficult. Let's. What happened? There we go. For now, we are going to just play around a bit. Yeah, I know I can't edit playing. Of course I can't. Like initially, this is not terrible in any way. I mean, the transitions can, of course, be better, and I seem to have to adjust the contrast a bit. But for an initial start, I think we're doing quite well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm going to add a lot of assets too, right? So for now, I think it might be more important for me to kind of gather information or trying to figure out how to build up the level. This is meant to be the cabin where things will happen. Not sure why yet. And this is the lighthouse. And right now, running to the lighthouse takes not a long time by any means, but it's not really super close. I might move the hut or the cabin closer and create this plateau, make it a lot smaller. There's a lot of things I could do outside of working on the procedural train. But maybe the next step would be, like you mentioned, a macro variation type of thing. Yep, it's already added. We can look at it in the buffer visualization. So if we go to roughness, so it is added. But that ground, or sorry, the sand texture. No, the other way around. It's the ground texture, the cliff. There are details, believe it or not. It's just really hard to tell. We might have to increase the contrast a bit. So two things we can actually do. And I'm just going to swap over to another scene. It is starting to get there. Absolutely. That almost worked. Oh, what's going on with my notepad? There we go. So two things we could do. We could definitely add more variation to the slope thing. We could probably add a third or a second slope mask that could be slightly different. And then we can add different type of ground material. And also we can, of course, blend two types of ground materials together to create variation. Same for the sand. I'm going to swap out the sand for grass, by the way, so we're not going to have that. But I do want the possibility to paint on the landscape because I plan on creating roads or paths using different textures. So a few things we might want to do is integrate or we should call it weight painting with slope mask. We should also export textures and repackage them in Substance Designer so that we have a proper standardized template or pack system. Because what I want to go for is base color should contain roughness, so we have saved one draw color. Then I also want the normals to only have the red and green channels, so we could store height in the blue, or perhaps ambient occlusion, and then in the final, in the alpha, we would have height. Then we could save a lot of space, and we can get an extra channel with details, which could be nice. And you know what? We could do that tonight, so I don't think that would take too long, and then we directly see the end results. I think that could be fun. Let's do that. So I'm kind of tired of Unreal right now. I don't have that. All right. Let's do this. Let's go to... Gonna get some behind the scenes here. Let's see. So on my Stream Deck, I have, let's see, this one. So we're going to move Photoshop up to that part. We're going to copy this button, make a new one. And we're going to search for Designer, add that instead. We don't need any titles. We can turn you off. So now that I press that button, move this away now. With that, we have Designer. Awesome. And let's create a new graph. Let's make it empty. We can recreate everything. And let's go. I think that's good enough. Back in Unreal, let's start with the ground texture. I think that could be the most interesting one. Let's go over here, select all of these, go to Asset Action. export. And instead of desktop, let's see. Oh, I already have the raw formats of those. That's perfect. So we can end the export. Yes. So instead, let's see if I can find them again. Textures, surfaces, megascans. Sorry, I need the name of them. What was it again? It was the Icelandic stone ground. Do I have that somewhere? I don't. Why not? Right, fair enough. Content textures. Where are we? Making sure this is done properly. There we go. Yes. Yes. And yes. So, all right. So back to designer. Import. The link or import. Let's do it. Import. Wait, what was that? Yeah, that's something that was, yep. We can, at the same time, perhaps lower the resolution. So I believe there are 4K right now. We don't need 4K. Let's 2K, and let's do an alpha merge. And you are depth. I need you. Let's combine you two and an output, which we are going to call BR, base color roughness. And we're going to do a split on the normal RGBA split. Something's really, there we go. Then we're going to do a merge gap, but this time we're only going to merge blue and reds while we're at it. Can I make a ambient occlusion from you? I can't. Do I need the height for that? I think I do. Actually, we're going to get all of the values from you. Let's see. So we're missing some white values. So it's not completely between 0 and 1. Let's do it out to level. And now we have all values, or the entire range of values, I should say. And with this, we're going to do a ambient occlusion, do a H1. That's terrible. We're going to have to do some adjustments. Perhaps we should try the other version to see if we can get something better than this. All right, let's try it. Come on. Hello there. How you all doing? And welcome. I see you're not developing today. No C#. Oh, you're always welcome to see me flounder around. How your day been? Well, it's coming along. So right now we're doing some technical stuff, but it's, let's see, I've kind of just quick showcase. It's really, oh, it's your day off. That's nice. Kind of need that even from the fun parts. So what we're doing right now is something called painting terrains in Unreal. So it's quite simple. You grab a big brush and you just start painting and you will get this landscape. And what I'm trying to do is right now, as if you can see, it's automatically updating the colors based on the slope variation, if it's a flat surface or if it's a slope, which makes sense, right? And yeah, that's the procedural stuff we're working on right now. And this is what I have on the side. So it's going to be fun once I get more details in, but I'm struggling a bit because the math and the complexity is getting to me. So for right now, yeah, it is fun. It is fun. But right now we're just trying to save some space by creating a system that combines all of these textures into, in this case, 5 textures into 2 textures. Because you can use the various channels of each texture to contain more data, which can increase the fidelity of your textures. So that's what we're doing right now. And it's all about sliders and adjustments. So, but yeah, that is what we're doing. And hopefully I can get something done because it's been a half productive day today. I'd love it to be a bit more productive, but I've had fun. Me and Cobbler have been going through various tutorials, trying to figure out what I can do. And right now, I think we're getting somewhere. I don't know. That's a terrible ambient occlusion, but it will do for now. And we need to include the height into the alpha. We'll do the other way around. I think we can do it this way. And then we can do a output. You're wasting my time. No, definitely not. I enjoyed the learning process. Well, that part is the fun part, I think. The less fun part is when you're struggling. It's learning that's fun. Did you finish your game the last stream? Or was it just a temporary like learning process? Because I know that you were working on a stealth game before that stream. But don't worry about it. Just if you have questions or want to ask or just check up on my sanity, please. Just no worries. Just type in chat if you want to. Lurking, of course, is fine. I appreciate every type of interaction, though. So you finished the section, okay. And what made you, by the way, choose Unity? Was it purely for the C# stuff, or was it something else? Because Unity right now isn't in the best of grace when it comes to most developers, based on a few controversial decisions in the past. Okay, cool. Well, I might jump in then. I don't stream tomorrow, so I might join your chat, mostly for the C#. Yep, makes sense. And also, I love the overlay you have with the text of chat popping up. I should look into that part. It's quite interesting, and it makes chat. I think the entire interaction makes it more interesting, right? Also, we looked at. I think Cobbler, was it StreamerBot we mentioned earlier? I think it was. Yeah. So I'm going to look into that part. See if we can do something fun with it. Where we're at. All right. So this is normal, pollution, height. So next, we're going to save. Go for StreamBot. You will love it. All right. I'll hold you responsible if I don't then. Is that fine? Oh, the beta is even cooler. I might go for the stable because I've had too much stuff when it comes to softwares lately. As you noticed earlier, I can't see my chat in OBS right now. I don't know why. There's, of course, probably just a simple setting I'm missing. But there are different things that just the same. Okay. Go for the stable. Yeah. I'll look into StreamBot, see if I can make something cool of it. Right now, I'm just happy that I got the follower and raider thing going. But I haven't got a follower yet, so I don't know if it's actually working. But according to the steps I'm taking so far, it should work. But you never know, right? Where was I? I meant to look at something. There you go. You managed to distract me. Dang it. Okay, yeah, that's good to know. I've noticed a few things. Mostly it's actually my Stream Deck that's been mostly bugging for me. Like Wavelength tend to every now and then not work for some reason. So I need to do the same thing. Close it and really like open it again. Docs, chat, checkbox. Well, the thing is, I don't have chat in docs. I can see Twitch chat, like the window itself, but it doesn't, I can't see the messages in that doc. I don't know why. I should be using the latest version. I might have to do some resets. No, so I mean the stream chat, I can't see it at all. So I have a way of seeing it. Should have a way of seeing it in OBS but right now I have Google and OBS open at the same time. Google because that's the only way for me to see chat. I don't know why. I guess no, it's not really. It's not the stream overlay. It's the dock in OBS that's really not cooperating with me. I thought it was some kind of just a setting. It could be I'm not logged in to a specific thing. I don't know. Either way, I'm fine for now, but it's annoying because I missed Cobbler's first like 5-6 messages because of it. It might be a bug. All right, good to know. And I'll figure something out. I mean, the way I'm looking at it right now, it's fine. It's slightly annoying, but it's fine. And still, I'm still distracted. Right, save. I need to save. That's the one I'm doing. Let's go with Icelandic, stony, ground, packed. There we go. With that, we need to go to export settings. We move this to the side. Surfaces, let's add it to packed. Select PNG. Yes, we should go for PNGs. Need the proper naming convention. And raw, no, you need to be sRGB. You can be raw. Close, because I need to name this. That should be fine. Right, so properly saved. We've got the PNG. We've changed the pattern, so it's automatically going to add everything we need to it, like the name of the texture and suffix, the prefix. That's perfect. It's part of the sRGB, and it's also part of raw. So we have all the color ranges we need. So let's just export that, and then it's going to be a 2K. Perfect. And close, because we're done. Back in Unreal, we are now going to, let's see, should be in textures, surfaces, and did we call it pack? Mega scans, textures. Nope. Content, sorry, textures, surfaces. Yes, we called it pack. It might be. It might be Rammstein. I definitely have Rammstein somewhere in the list. Right now it's Sabaton, but earlier it might have been. Double check that. Well, I have to go back, so perhaps not. But we can do this. I'm gonna make Rammstein the next one. I've seen Rammstein live twice. Is it? Or at least once. And when I saw them, it was amazing. They put on such a show. So we were in Stockholm, and we were at this, I would call it a large arena, a football arena. And they have placed, first of all, this big industrial tower, which was part of the stage. So you saw this, I would say, probably, if you get too close, my burn. That is actually kind of part of the story. It's not that scary, but yeah, definitely. Or get a little wet. They didn't have much of the wet part in this concert. But they did have that big tower, probably 40, okay, let's say 30 meters tall, which roughly equivalents to, 90 feet? I don't know. And then they have other smaller towers, kind of like oil pumping towers. That's the best explanation I can give. On the standing part of the arena. And during the live scene, they played a song called Puppe, which I believe called cocoon, or an insect cocoon. And they were sending out these confettis that looked like small insects while it was flying in the air in the wind. It was kind of weird. And then all of a sudden they just threw all the pyrotechnics on us, which is these big towers just shouting us, like gushing out fire. And like, I think they were probably 10, 50 meters tall, so roughly 45 feet, right? Which is, it's tall. Pyrotechnics, right? Yes. But the problem was that I stood, first of all, a bit of a distance away from the tower, and then you have the height, but I felt the flames. And I was probably, let's go with that 45 feet away. And I could still feel the heat hitting me. And one of my friends actually passed out because of the heat. Well, it was the summer heat and that heat combined with water and everything. Oh, it's so weird. It was an amazing concert, but it was such a experience. So if you get the chance to go to a Rammstein concert, I highly recommend it to do it. It's amazing. And one of my favorite YouTube videos is Rammstein and Du Hast from Paris. I think I can find that. It's insane. The time in the fireworks, it's Absolutely amazing. House Live. I mean, but they open the blue headliner away. Yeah, I can see that happening because it is Rammstein. I think that I can't think of any other band other than a few older ones that can beat Rammstein at a live concert. I've seen Iron Maiden, I've seen Metallica, Slipknot, In Flames. All of them were amazing concert, right? But there's something about Rammstein. Let's see. Oh, you've seen them in, like 4 times? I want to see them again, but I can't really know when I don't know when they're coming back to Sweden. All right, so this is, do what you want with this, but this is the video I'm talking about. It's amazing, especially, I'm not going to spoil it. You probably know what it is, but I'm not going to spoil it. It's such a fun video. That's one of the concerts I want to see. That, and if I could, I would love to go back to Iron Maiden in Rock in Rio when they were playing for probably a few 100,000 people. And they were playing Fear of the Dark. And everyone was singing along. They knew the lyrics. So you had 100, 200,000 people singing along to Fear of the Dark. I mean, I wasn't there. I just saw the video and it was goosebumps, right? Oh, it's amazing. Or another one. Have you seen Metallica playing for the Russians once the Soviet Union collapsed? They were the first metal band to go to that area, that part of the world, and play to, that was probably 1 million people, wasn't it? Or am I just ramping up the numbers? Let's see. Metallica concert. Have a look. I mean, it's up there. They were playing, yeah, estimated. This is estimated. 1.6 million people. It's insane. Right? If you look at the video, it's just a sea of people. It's absolutely insane. And then you have things like Apache helicopters flying in the air. You have military people. You have police officers. Everyone. It's absolutely insane. It's far too many people. Yes, it's absolutely. I mean, just to be there for a few minutes, just to experience it would be amazing. But I mean, I was 3 years old when this happened, so that's kind of impossible. There you go. That's the YouTube video. And traffic must have been awful. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have traffic. I think everything within 2 miles would probably be absolutely shut down because everyone will be at the concert. You would probably see like abandoned cars along the way. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But yeah, these 2 videos are probably my favorite ones when it comes to YouTube stuff and live concerts. Absolutely insane. Yeah, indeed. Exactly. All right. Where are we? We're importing stuff. So we are in it's the raw folder, the content, textures. Witch Dog. That's 10 times the number of people that turn out at the Wembley Stadium, London from Band Aid. Yeah. And that is a big concert. And even then, that concert, I mean, it's insane. I don't think you could do those type of concerts anymore. Like the Band Aid, absolutely, but you don't have Freddie Mercury, so it's not going to be as memorable, I guess. But imagine 1.56 million people. I think the biggest one I've been to, or 15,000 or 20,000. That's like how many percentages off? Like 0.00001 something, even more. Yeah, fun. Some people get the good parts. Although I assume there were probably a few people who were injured or passed out during that Metallica concert. And by the way, Twitch Dog, welcome. I should have started with that. Glad you're here. Let's see. And where are we? Blah, blah, compression. BC7. BC7. So we can have the ambient occlusion and the height. Yes. And with that, I should be able to update some of these, at least. Oh, did I make a function of that? Oh, this is going to be discussing, but I'm pretty sure, 100% sure that you didn't get anywhere, so you just had to do whatever you could. Standing up. There's no choice. If you're in the middle of that thing, yeah. It's probably like an hour trying to get out. It's one of those like less glorious parts of those like large events that you don't really think about. Oh god, that's disgusting. Did I? Dang it. I didn't save that part, did I? Good old Times Square New Year's situation. I've never been or seen in Times Square New Year's event, but I'm guessing, considering the size of that city of New York, that you will probably have quite a bit of people gathering in a reasonably or relatively small space. That's insane. Oh shit, where did I save that information? Oh no. I always forget this part. I should have it somewhere, right? So I need to recalculate the... there we go. I had it. Oh, thank God. Recalculate normals based on the red and green channel. So I needed this part because I would forget it otherwise. But I'm not sure about the normalizing part, though. Is that needed? I don't think it is. So let's just not include that. And also, I'm going to clean this up. Output name derived. Yes, that's fine. I didn't wait in line. I was there, and from the early afternoon, from midday, the police are already locking people into gradually of crowd size. Once in, there's no way to leave and come back. Yeah. That sounds... I mean, if you're able to keep it in without any physical issues, I'm sure it's fine, but can't really... Perhaps when I was younger, I could probably stand up for a longer time, but nowadays, I feel like 1 hour and my lower back kills me. Probably the oldest I've ever felt. 12 hours? That's insane. How do you survive that? Adult diapers. You're telling me people... No. I mean, yes, I assume at least 2. But that's absolutely... How would you know? How would you go about doing that? Because I feel like I have to go to the bathroom at least every 3 hours. So 12 hours at least. That's like 4 or 5 breaks at least. No, sounds not worth it at all. Yeah, that sounds like a more reasonable approach. Staying inside in a hotel. Yeah. But it had to be amazing once it's getting close to midnight, right? I've seen quite a lot of these amazing fireworks displays. I believe it's Sydney and London are usually the ones that come up as examples all the time. Like these almost an hour-long display of fireworks. Is that? Maybe it's not an hour long, but it looks amazing. And of course, Times Square has always been in the movies. The one that comes to mind is Forrest Gump, right? Isn't Times Square? At least in a short scene included in that movie, isn't it? With Lieutenant Dan is pissed off. And that's another side I haven't really thought of. How quickly people can like, okay, we're done, let's go. We spent 12 hours here. Now we have done whatever we wanted to from and like 10 minutes and let's go on. All right, so I'm not insane. You also have at least vague images in your head that yes, Times Square was part of Forrest Gump. Oh, my first thought was that you meant in the movie. I'm pretty sure someone needed to, but you were talking about the ghost town that was Times Square. All right, yeah. Just so you all know, if I sound incoherent, it's midnight where I'm at right now, so I'm starting to get slightly tired. Just a heads up if I'm starting to blabber and make no sense at all. All right, so I think that works. So we need the RGB, and out should be a new normal. There we go. Awesome. So now we've saved space and memory. Now we need to connect all these. And it should be these ones. So let's start by combining the base color. Also, you need the UVs. Otherwise, it will look terrible. Roughness, I'll put that in the alpha, right? And the normals. Did I only use the red for the normals? Did I? No sense. That's the dumbest thing I've ever done. All right. Fair enough. We need a new lerp. We need that to be in the ambient occlusion. Since we don't have an ambient occlusion for the other one, let's just make that a white solid for now. This way, right? And I need you, and I need you. Probably do this in a better and cleaner way using the name reroutes, but yeah, it's just for today. And the fun part is cleaning up. And I do think this part now be tossed into this part. Well, fingers crossed that I've done this correctly. No. What went wrong? What went wrong? That's fine. All right. Let's temporarily cut you off. That looks fine. Right. That's... Ooh. No, it should be fine. I have the slope mask, and I have a... What if we do that? That looks fine. What's going on? Lerp, lerp, lerp. You go, Cobbler. Water is important, and that reminds me, I should drink my water. I haven't touched it in 2 hours. Ooh, I'm trying this electrolyte type of powder. Good taste. No clue if it works, though. But it was quite useful during the summer heat. What's going on? Let's turn off roughness, normal, and ambient occlusion. Let's see if we can only get the norm. Okay, but why are you? Oh, I know what it is. Okay, I know what it is. That's dumb. All right, I get the point, Cobbler. I get the point. I'll fix it at some point. All right, you need to go back, and you need to go back, and you need to go back because all of these are the wrong place. Let's see. Normals, ambient occlusion, roughness, base color. All right, now it should work. There we go. So that's almost all of it. Let's see, roughness, normal, and ambient occlusion. And for the sake of it, let's name it. Normal, and of course, for love of ambient occlusion. And let's give a bit more space. And hopefully, well, first of all, we have normals, and they look correct. Let's check that out. So start with roughness. Roughness, we are okay. Hard to tell the details on these, but that's fine. Next, we need to check the world normals. And as far as I can tell, we're doing fine. World normals. And lastly, it will be, I don't think we have occlusion, do we? We have it? Yes, we do. But it's not working. Awesome. And let's do some fine tuning. I want these to be showing. Perhaps I will. Let's do 800 and not sure why. Oh, the fade min. Why is that so extreme? Oh, never mind. That should be fine. 260 tiling. It's fine. What were you again? I'm pretty sure you had to do something with the transition, right? Oh, that's a power. And then you should be the contrast. Right. Should name you. Height, mask, power. mask, contrast. We're all. There we go. Are there any other parts I should name? Point 9. So it's something. Do this. Hopefully that's not going to crash anything. I am pushing Unreal bits. So with this, it's kind of much just all about refining surface shape, and I feel size-wise, the island might be a bit too big. Well, I need to decide on what's going to happen on the island, what kind of horror-esque gameplay we're going to expect. I do want to create some type of island on the other side that's hidden by fog. Maybe that's the next step, actually, to add the fog. I haven't done that yet. Save, of course, always. I do have an exponential height fog. What are you? Okay, that's, and I assume these are blockouts. Let's call them blockouts. Turn you down. Cube would be the dock, which is also a blockout for now. Let's call these size references. Actually, let's do that. Not sure what to do with you, so we'll leave you for now. And fog, right. How do you get, because I think this, what's it called? The light system has changed quite a bit in Unreal 5. How do you create a overcast? Let's try, see if we can figure that out. Nope, that's the wrong buttons. I'm expecting that to happen at some point. Of course, wave has crashed. Okay, 1 second. Hopefully that didn't break anything. But who knows? Here we go. Back to stream. That made no sense. So we'll leave that tutorial be. And let's instead add this one. Let's see. That's something. That did nothing. Have I broken this one? It's not impossible. I have. Well, that is something, but it's not extending all the way up to this part. Okay, so I need to double check that part. It's fun. Always fun going back to old stuff and realize it's broken. So I guess we could then, while we have designer running, we could probably just update the other texture while we're at it, which is part of there we go, asset, export, raw content textures, mega scans. All right. Then save as. This is just generic sound, it seems. Welcome back, Cobbler. You haven't missed anything. I'm still struggling. Let's just, I mean, it's just called sand. And in resources, let's do another import. But in this case, we're going for sand textures. There we go. Right. And import all of these. Replace, nope, not that one. Didn't you all, okay, so did I export a, did stream stop? What's going on? Seems to be working. You have to get back to me on that, Cobbler. I'm not sure. Seems to be working from on my side. Or are you pulling my leg or something? I hope not. Do I need to go through each one by one? Yes, I do. Okay. I guess it's on Cobbler's side then. Well, thanks for the heads up. Because that kind of had my heart jumping a bit. Always the same thing when it comes to scuff, like you tend to panic. All right, so I need to adjust this part. Relative to parent. All right. And please go. Yes. Export as. Right. Might have to refresh. Yeah. I assume it's on his side if and everyone else can hear me, hopefully. But yeah. He'll figure something out. I have complete trust in Cobbler's abilities to fix things. Never met the guy, but he seems awesome. We're fine. Export. So now we, instead of a 4K, we have 2Ks, which of course looks not as good, but will save us a lot of memory instead, or performance, I should say. Impact. Ooh, should I? I should. Oh, there you go. You scared me for a second there, Cobbler, but I'm glad you're back. And it's not on my side. That's probably the best news I heard all day. There we go. And generic. That's an import of. Ooh. That might be a problem. I'll figure something out. do that. And open. Oh, that's not correct. This one needs to be sRGB. And you, DC7, you can't be. All right, perfect. So re-import you two. There we go. Just confirming that sRGB is off on that one and on that one. Then we can make a copy of these two. Here we go. Move this one. And this. This. And you. Yeah, so a bit of improvement on the performance side. So now I can kind of just do that. And everything should be fine. Actually, now that I can kind of remove those, because the point of that one was it was imported to Photoshop, so we don't need that anymore. Okay, some more compact material, and hopefully we should be fine. All looks well. Comes down to the buffer visualization, so. So, okay, so here's something I should do, is to add a way to adjust roughness values. Because I'm getting nothing from these. This is kind of pure white. And I'm not sure if it's even come through the streaming, because it's such a low level of details. So the options I have is I can adjust it inside Designer, give me the entire range of 0 to 1, and then inside Unreal, I can adjust them again, making sure that it becomes, you can barely see it. Yeah, I'm affected as much. I mean, I can barely see it, so I assume it's even worse through a stream. So these textures are photo scans, right? So they are as correct as we can get to what they're actually in the real world. That might not always be what we want, though. So I'm thinking I could do a few things in Designer that gives me more data to work with inside Unreal, and then adjust the values inside Unreal. I think that's a good approach. And that gives me more freedom to be more artistic, right? I think that is the path we're going with, and it's good that I have Designer open. Procedural? No, not for the roughness part. I probably could make a procedural. I'm not sure I see a point to it, though. If you have an idea of what could be interesting to work with procedurally and roughness, please let me know, but I can't really see why I should do it. What I'm trying to do is kind of, well, it's procedural in the way, or it's non-destructive. That's a better word for it. So I will always have the information, the old one, available to me. But you can see the difference here. So what you see on my left side, where I have my mouse right now, in a second, my bit of a lag. That's what we have from the beginning. It's all white. Adding that auto level, and you can also see down below that, there's a histogram. And all the data is on the right side, meaning there's barely any dark values. So there's going to be absolutely no glossiness to the roughness. So it's pure matte textures. By adding the auto level, I'm all of a sudden expand the data. So now the lowest value from before is now 0, and the highest is now 1. It looks weird, but I do have data all the way to 0 now, so I have more data to work with. And you can see there's more details involved. Yeah, it's a good way to do it, I think, because then I can just use a multiply and a scalar inside Unreal to bump it up to that matte again. But I would have a better baseline compared to the other one. I could probably do the same, so I can get them both at a roughly the same start point, rather than the extremes they are on right now. So let's see, is this sand generic or Iceland? Okay, that's Iceland. Export. We're going to go to sand, add a auto. So hopefully this is a smart idea, but either way, I can always go back and change it at some point, so it's fine. Let's just re-import everything. Why isn't it updating? It should be updating to this, but that's not even close. What's going on? Is it gathering? Ah, right. That makes sense. Okay, I know what it is. There we go. Now we're cooking. Got that I added an extra layer of folders, so. Of course, it's not going to work the way I expect it to. It also means that in my folder, I have these extra textures I don't need. So let's delete those and try re-import again. There we go. A bit more information. Could probably do more with that, but for now, we're fine. Perfect. So back to the level. So now it's more gathering one spot. I guess it's a better word for it. So let's see what that looks like. Well, it's not much to go for, but it's better than before. We could add in the material, a way to adjust what's this is what, the Icelandic or sand? This is Icelandic. So let's do ground roughness. And that's just a multiply. We need to start at 1. That needs to go into plot. Right. Duplicate and change the name to sand roughness. And with that, we should, in the buffer, go to roughness. We should be able to just crank this up, but still keep. That is not what I expected, because it's not the multiply, it's an add we're going to do, not a multiply. So we need an add, because if it's 0, it's not going to be affected by a multiplier. If it's 1, it's not going to be affected by the multiplier. And also, we need to make sure it's within the 0 to 1 space. So we need a saturate node. Otherwise, 1 plus anything is, well, apart from negative, but 1 plus a 1 is 2. We don't want the 2. We want everything to be within 0 to 1. So with this, we should be fine. And reset. Oh, of course. Of course. Now you can't be 1. It's always something. And if I increase you, we could go quite far, but I want to keep it. Let's add 0.2. That's fine. And the sand roughness, do slightly more. Or less. To another 0.2. Yeah. So it's not showing any drastic changes in the editor or during gameplay. But now at least I have control on that part, so that's nice. And if we want to, we could let's go with negative. See some really crazy differences, I think. Yeah. Might not go through the stream either way, but yeah. I can definitely see more of the reflections of things in my vicinity. This one, I can really tell. It looks almost dirty. Yeah, wet. So that's not going to work. But it was a fun test. All right. What else can we do? Perhaps we should do that macro variation we talked about, cobblers. I have a rough idea of how I want to do it. I just need to remember how. Because there's one node. Oh, come on. Which is called noise. And do I need to have the absolute world position node, or can I use the landscape coordinates? I think I can use the landscape. Perhaps I don't want to, but I don't know. Let's try. Oh, you didn't like that. Is it because of this part? Okay, so apparently I can't use landscape coordinates. That's fine. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Where are you? There you go. Okay, that is not like what I wanted to do is divide this one with a scalar. Let's do world position, size, tiling. do it this way. Okay, so first of all, where are you? You need to be reset. And then we can increase this part. So what we do with this office, we could do a simple one. I'm not sure about there's a more complicated way to do this, because you could, based on this pattern, you can rotate these textures randomly. I know a colleague of mine who did that, but I can't for the love of me remember how. So we need to figure out a different way to do it, which is we are going to offset the current texture by a little bit, and then we could lerp back am I going to need another set of textures then? I am, aren't I? Because I'm going to need another texture sample to rotate. That's not what I want. Let's see. All right, so he is rotating, so I'm going to need another texture sample. All right. So the reason I don't want to do that is I'm expecting to use a lot of texture samples moving forward. And if I have to double each texture sample, that's going to be really performance heavy. But then again, I might have to do it. I don't know. Okay, so that's also an option. We could add some color variation to the texture instead. Rather than rotating it, we could just kind of blend some color overlays. I'm not sure if that's going where we can try it out. That's also an option. If we add, all right, we can do it that way. Let's try it out. So what we can do instead, just need to buy my music, but this is boring. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to, I don't have a texture right now, but we're going to add a texture within quotations. So we're going to use vectors. And we can then lerp the sand with using this noise pattern together with the sand and another texture together. As we can do it that way, break up the pattern. I'm not so worried about the rock parts because everything on the slopes are going to be covered by other assets, and everything else is going to be beneath the sea, so no one's going to see it, so we should be fine. And so we can do that is a vector 3. Let's make it a terrible green color, represent grass. We can lerp that. Like this with this pattern up here. Time to make some tiles. Yes. Go all karate on it. Color. Oh. That is not even close. What are you doing? Seems better. I mean, it looks like it's sick. I know that. Oh, right. Also, before that, can't forget, I need to multiply this noise pattern with the height. Because if I don't do that, everything is going to be affected. Now only the sand should be affected. And this part needs to go into this part. It's starting to get quite complicated, this texture or material. I'm starting to have problems separating everything. I should use more rerouters. Okay, so now you're not working at all. Why not? Hello? What's wrong? Oh, of course. Again, we're going to have to use the right textures. Again, mistake. You need to be this way. All right. That way. That way. Now. For the love of, yes, thank you. I guess the sand wasn't really the big problem when it came to repeating patterns, right? Landscape tiling. Looks like lizard skin. Yeah, it kind of does. I mean, it's all about dialing. I might have to use a different type of noise. There are alternatives, I think. You could, in this, change the pattern. I'm pretty sure you can. So let's try something out. And while we're on lizards, although I'm pretty sure this isn't considered a lizard, but I'm pretty sure there's one called alligator pattern. Apparently not in this one, though. Oh, not what you wanted to do. 128. So 16. No. 64, 32. Okay. I guess that's good enough. No, we're not going to do anything fancy. I was about to animate the texture, which makes no sense. But just for visualization. Fast gradient, what's that look like? It's kind of nice. That's good. I mean, all of these seems to be... Let's go with Warnoy. I think that is a good pattern. Of course, I forgot. Where are you? There you go. And adjust the values. Not really what I hoped for. I had a different vision in mind. What if it's about this is such a gamble, or gamble big? I'm just guessing. And we could probably add contrast. Yeah, I think we're going to have to find another way to do this, because I'm not getting the pattern I'm expecting. It's either too small. Yeah, I need to look that up. I feel like there's a lot of things I need to look up. And external. We've done that part. That is definitely not the one I wanted. Be gone. I'm trying to grab this one. And let's pass this one into there. The other way around. And with that, we experiment a bit. All right. I'm going to have to call it quits here. I've actually gone past my usual time with a full hour. So I think it's time for me to go to bed and rethink a few things. But we made some progress, some update on the texture sets, package stuff. The slope, I'll need to figure out how to implement or integrate the weight painting of the landscape in with the slope mask. There should be a way to do it. I was able to access the weight painting, but I couldn't really figure out how to integrate it with a slope mask in a proper way. But thanks, Cobbler. Yeah, it was nice having you all here. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say other than thank you. Like it's always fun when chat is active and ask a question, or just like we did earlier, cobblers, when we looked at various tutorials together and things like that. It's a lot of fun. I like that. So it's kind of what I want to do this streaming thing, is just to get that discussion going on and just having fun, because I feel more productive actually when I'm streaming rather than when I work by myself. I know that contradictive probably, but that's what I feel. So we are going to do a few things, the usual stuff. So if anyone's here and is new to my channel, please consider giving me a follow. I'm just one step away from reaching my goal, followers goal. And good news, if you weren't here earlier today, I actually were granted affiliate, I believe it's called, yesterday, which is good news. I'm really happy about that. I'm going to set that up at some point. And also I'm on YouTube, so if you want to catch my VODs and shorts, which I upload every 2 days, please go to Every Kindle Studio on YouTube. I do have a link in my about. And I think that's it. So I'm going to pass you on. Oh, thank you, Operations. Thank you. It's unreal. I didn't expect it to happen this week. I thought it was 50, but they apparently changed that. Time to make some emotes. Oh, right. Yes, I'll need to look into that. I need to find time for that part. Besides 2 games, the VODs, the shorts, the streaming. Yeah, I do have some time between all of that. Let me pass you on to another guy here that's streaming. I think we've been to his stream before. So his name is Hypnotic Games. It's a nice guy. Had a great fun time last time I was there. Let's see if I can do this. Still need to learn how to do raids, probably. We're not going to use that. We're going to do a /raid. Hopefully spell this correct. Oh, do I need to have all the capital letters? I assume I do. Why add a random uppercase letter in the middle of everything? But just so you know, capital letters is what we call them in Sweden. It's uppercase letters, I know. Hypnotic Games. Let's try it, see what happens. I think that worked well. You too, Twitch Dog. Have a good day, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. And hopefully I'll see you all in the next one on Tuesday. Yes, see you, Cobbler. And Operation, have a good day. I'll pass you on. Bye-bye.